And I had talking to that Dubfire, and he was like, "Well, you want to become my opening live act on tour?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, I'm gonna change my name to Shaded." And he's like, "Cool, done. Let's do it." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, your next EP signed. We'll just put it out as Shaded." And I was like, "Tight." And then that was it. And it was like pretty. I mean, it was really a real bummer at the time because Shadowplay had like a really good thing going. Like it was making some noise. So having to like just leave it and move to a new name, even though I think people kind of knew, it still took some steam away. So it was a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, I mean, looking back in hindsight, it was a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, definitely gave you that jump start. And obviously, I think it's funny because when I was with some friends who are a little bit less in the scene before we were coming to the show, and they're asking me about you because I had said I was going to interview you, and I'm showing you them, and it's just like, your sound is just so unique, and I don't know that there's anyone that's really doing it like you right now. You just mentioned it, he asked you to be the live act. Since you started this project, I think you've almost exclusively played live setups. Really unique kind of way to using like the Zone MIDI and Machine and the Roland VT4. For you, why did you want to focus on a live performance? And are there any kind of pros and cons that you've learned from it over the years?
Well, at the time, it was essentially came down to I was just talking to Ali, I mean Dubfire, and he's like, "Yo, look it, I want to take you on tour with me. Most of the clubs, you got like an hour slot before me. I mean, you could do a DJ set, but he's like, it would be super sick if you played live because like no one has music like you. And I think you could, really have something special." And I'd already wanted to do that. That was already my goal. I like DJing, but it's actually, to be fair, like honest, DJing to me doesn't really excite me that much. I enjoy it for like an after party or something, or when my friends are around. But like if I'm going out, I came from a band background, so the idea of performing your own music, and I also came from a production background. So before I was ever DJing, I was making music, and so that's always been my passion, is to write music and then translate it onto the stage and see how people react. So that was just kind of a natural progression. And then obviously he wanted to take me on tour. I mean, the positives are, like you said, it's a unique show. Nobody has any of the music I have because it's all my own. I play a lot of unreleased stuff, and that kind of gives me this, and it also allows me to kind of play stuff at specific parties that I can get away with because I am live. Like for Paradise, for instance, like I don't feel like I play techno, and I don't feel like I play house. Like I feel like I'm right in the middle of the two. Yet I don't play tech house. Like what the current tech house is. So like at Paradise, I was able to play a little bit more techno-y, I think, than maybe other artists were, just because it is live and people understand that. They're like, oh, this is something different. The cons, though, is you can't really play more than 2 hours, because I think I would never want to go see a band for like 4 hours. Like I'd be down. I want to go see a band for an hour or 2 hours, see the show, and be gone. So I treat it that way. It's like no matter who the artist is, no matter what, the sound is going to have a specific identity. So after a certain amount of time, it's like I want to hear something new. Whereas the DJ, you can move through genres and play different producers who have a completely different vibe, and it kind of has more of a journey. You can make a more diverse journey as a DJ, whereas a live show, it's a little bit more focused. Still, you can create a journey, but I feel like you have a little bit more constraints. And not, when I say the word constraint, I mean it in like essentially in the diversity of the set. It's like, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're playing your music, and you obviously have a very specific sound. So if you're playing live, like you're
Yeah.
gonna be playing live renditions of your own tracks.